Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 week out from the NFL draft, Thursday, April 25th, and it is time. We do this every year. Aidan and myself, Kmess, will go through the entire first round of the NFL draft, picking for every single team in the first round. We will go even and odds tonight. Aidan, I do have it narrowed down to 6 players for the Cowboys I believe they're going to pick. But before I announce those names to then see how it plays out for the Cowboys, how are you?
I'm good because the draft is a week away. This is the time of the year. This is one of my favorite things to do when we put on our GM hat and draft for each and every team in the NFL, picks 1 through 32. It's a lot of fun kind of going through each team, dissecting what they need, what would fit. But it's even more so doing it for our teams. Like you said, you're down to 6 people you think the Cowboys could target. I'm up to from 6 to about 66 that I think the Eagles may target in the first round and maybe even the second round there with 2 picks at 50 and 52. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll get into it right away for everybody. Do you want to, I know we're doing even and odds. Do you want me to be odds? Because just like Caleb Williams, I'm a bit odd in the brain.
That works perfectly. On evens are my favorite numbers. I'm a big number 2 guy, so I'm good with evens.
Yeah.
Thought you'd enjoy that. Before we jump into this, I don't think the Cowboys need to go running back at all now because now they just, breaking news, have signed Royce Freeman, championship. Here we come.
That is the clip of Anthony Edwards being like, they've got Kevin Durant, but we got Jalen McDaniels. It's like, they got Saquon, but we got Royce Freeman.
Hey, how about it? Played at Oregon.
How about it?
We love those Oregon Ducks. All right, before we jump into this, if you are, make sure you're watching this on our YouTube page. You will be able to see the draft unfold in front of you with Aidan and myself on the side. But Aidan, I'm just going to say, so I'm down to, like I said, 6 players. I think the top 2 centers, Graham Barton, Jackson Power Johnson. I think they are going to try and solidify the center position. If for some reason both those guys are gone, they're going to still try and focus on the offensive line, whether it be Troy Fatano. I think it's going to be tough if he drops to them, Tyler Guyton or Amarius Mims. And if they decide to go another way on the other side of the ball, I would not be surprised if you saw them taking Edrin Cooper at 24 or in a trade back scenario.
I could see it in a trade back scenario. It would need to be a trade up to get Fatano. Spoilers, if he's on the board at 22 with the Eagles, he will not be at 24. Let's put that out there right now. He did his top 30 visit with them today. And that's one other thing we should clarify before we hit start on this. We're doing even and odds, but obviously both of our teams draft evens. We're going to draft for our own teams.
Yes.
So I'll pick a 22 and give up a odd.
And we've agreed to go straight up with this. No trades, correct?
No trade. Yes, correct. Okay. Which obviously is not how it goes on draft night. But for the sake of everybody getting their pick, let's just go straight forward and address it one by one.
All right, Aidan, let's enter the solo draft room.
Let's ESPN and NFL Network. Watch how quick we can pick these players. We don't have to drag it out this year. Just go to the podium. Let's do that right now. So starting, pick 1. It's Caleb Williams. I've been in love with Caleb Williams since he was at Oklahoma. Enrolled early. If you have legitimate criticisms of him on the field, that's okay. But your criticism can't be the color of his fingernails and the color of his phone case. That I don't care about. The Bears have never had a passer of 4,000 yards in a season. He could easily be the first one. I'm so excited to watch him play football. Caleb Williams to the Bears at 1. No brainer.
Easy pick. Here at number 2, I think Jaden Daniels is the guy that we're seeing a lot more shoot up the draft boards. He was the Heisman Trophy winner. A lot of people had Drake May sitting there at number 2 out of North Carolina. He's kind of falling out of grace a little bit with Jaden Daniels jumping him. Now, I think Jaden Daniels will be the pick. I think they will take quarterback here for Dan Quinn. However, it would not shock me in any sense of the form of the word if they either went Joe Alt to solidify the offensive line a little bit more, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Neighbors there, because there might be a certain quarterback out on the market next year who is enamored with Dan Quinn. And I think if he was a free agent this year, he would have signed with the Washington Commanders already, and that's Dak Prescott. So it would not be surprising if they see ahead and want to get after Dak Prescott next year and they sign weapons now. But I don't think that's specifically going to happen. So I think they will take Jaden Daniels, quarterback LSU.
Well, hey, I've got a decade's worth of experience to know that nothing a Josh Harris-owned team could do would shock me. I have plenty of experience there. Also, hey, he might not hit the trade market because if we're right, he'll be traded to the Raiders on draft night. At number 3, if Jaden Daniels is off the board and Caleb Williams is obviously going number 1 to the Bears, I think this will be Drake May to the Patriots. Again, kind of like you mentioned with Joe Alt and some of these receivers like Marvin Harrison Jr. These are going to be great players. But I think, especially in the Patriots case where you had 20 years of Tom Brady, you had even longer tenure of Bill Belichick, and you're kind of just starting that next chapter. The first building block of the next chapter is always quarterback. So Jaden Daniels and Drake May seem to be flipping 2 and 3 by every day. So if Jaden Daniels is off the board, I'd say Drake May goes 3 to the Patriots.
The perfect Mac Jones 2.0 in New England.
I was going to say some of the things that Drake May does concern me, like big arm, but then doesn't realize there's a shallow cross like 7 yards in front of him sometimes. It's not great.
And I don't know if sometimes he just doesn't see the defense or if he's that bullish on his arm talent that he thinks he can make every throw.
Yes. Like he's got Carson Wentz vibes to him. And I love Carson, but it's just like you don't hit the layups, which in the NFL is how you survive. So that concerns me a lot.
Yep. At number 4, let's not overthink this. Malik Neighbors is a very good, if not great, wide receiver, right? I think we've saw what he did at LSU. He is a huge reason why Jaden Daniels got that Heisman Trophy win this year. I think he's going to be an elite talent in this league. But you, me, and every single person that watches football has literally been talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. being the best wide receiver prospect, if not the best prospect coming out of the draft that he will be drafted in for the last 3 years. Let's not overthink this. Let's get a weapon for Kyler Murray and for this team who needs weapons and whose father is an all-time great, whether it be on the field or bad things in Philadelphia, an all-time great. Let's go get the guy that everybody has been saying is a sure thing and put him in Arizona to try and help our very small quarterback.
I totally agree with this with the don't overthink it. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. has been the guy for the past 3 years. You know, this is a guy, 200 yards, 4 TDs in the Rose Bowl 2 years ago against Britton Covey. So yeah, that makes sense. I'll stick with receiver here at 5, the Chargers. So they had to release Mike Williams. They traded Keenan Allen. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Quentin Johnson thing is going to work, but Justin Herbert needs weapons. I'm sure, John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh would love for JJ McCarthy to make it there, but Justin Herbert is an absolute stud. Let's put weapons around him. Let's do it with Malik Neighbors. He does have an electrifying game, breakaway speed, insane athleticism. I see why some people are leapfrogging him with Marvin Harrison Jr., but you really can't overthink that Harrison Jr. selection. Like he has been, I think your fan base can live with it if he is a bust because you're just using the common sense approach. Neighbors seems to be electrifying as well, so I'll send him 5 to the Chargers.
And are there really any fans in Arizona that get angry about anything?
No, good point. I will say here, though, that's me. Jim Harbaugh went on record first thing in the first Senior Bowl or combine he showed up for him was like, you win in the trenches, you win with the offensive line, and said it's the only position where you don't have to depend on somebody else. So if Joe Alt ends up in Los Angeles, don't be surprised. But I think Neighbors is awesome.
All right, Giants are on the board here. Would it make sense? Joe Alt sitting there. Fashanu is sitting there. Both unbelievable talents. I have seen some drafts with Fashanu above Joe Alt, and that kind of is one of those almost don't overthink it thing either. Joe Alt's been the best left tackle in college football for the last 3 years as well, but Fashanu is right there with him. This would only make sense to solidify an offensive line that, they didn't have an offensive line for Saquon Barkley to run behind. It only makes sense to solidify your offensive line. That is why I am going to take J.J. McCarthy here for the New York Giants. Everybody saw Daniel Jones's eyes this week at the press conference. Very Adam Gase were those eyes. It's very scary. Yeah. I think it's time to move on there. And who better than the quarterback who simply did not throw a pass in the second half against some teams and threw about 3 passes in the national championship game. So let's go J.J. McCarthy here at 6 for the Giants.
Put him in. Put him in. Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you what, this is major trade-up territory, too.
Yep.
Between 4 and 6, there's going to be a team that's trying to come up to get, well, the first 3 quarterbacks they might try to trade up as well, but also JJ McCarthy. Some team is going to trade up for JJ McCarthy on draft night, and I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to cyberbully you if you do it. Number pick 7 here for the Titans. You make it very easy with the JJ McCarthy selection, but I'm going to go with Joe Alt, the tackle from Notre Dame. I like Fashanu from Penn State, but I think Alt has been the number 1 tackle, kind of like the Marvin Harrison thing. Like, just don't overthink it. He's been the guy. And they go Joe Alt this year. They went Peter Skoronski last year. You're starting to really solidify a behemoth offensive line for the Titans. Well, I know it's just not the sexy picks, but they're building something up front.
They are building something up front, and could that something up front be protecting Dak Prescott next year? One only knows. So, the Falcons just got Kirk Cousins. You have Bijan, Drake London, Mooney, Rondell Moore, Kyle Pitts. Is this the time you try and go out and get another weapon for your guy? Whether it be Rome Odunze, bring in another tight end, Brock Bowers, or with a almost aging Jake Matthews, 32 years old at left tackle, Caleb McGarry, he's 29. I think this is where you need to go get Fashanu. He's one of the best players in this draft. You're sitting at 8. He fell to you. You just signed a veteran quarterback coming off an Achilles tear. Protect him. Do whatever you can to protect him, and he will get the ball to the already weapons that you have. I don't think you need to add another weapon here. This is, again, the meme from the Bengals a few years ago where it was Penei Sewell protecting him, anybody he can throw it to, or it is Chase out there, but the ball not getting there because your quarterback is dead. So I'm going to go Fashanu here to protect Kirk Cousins.
You didn't want to go Falcons tight end in the first 10 picks again? You didn't want to relive that?
I mean, I think it would be perfect. Hey, Georgia boy.
I would not put anything past them.
No.
All right, on to the Bears. I think this is another kind of no-brainer in terms of position. Now, there's a few different names, though. So let's think edge rusher. I think that's probably the way to go for them and kind of solidify that defense. They've got some pieces there. I really liked what they've done. Probably we're going to think, I like Latu a lot, but I don't think he's going to be the guy here. I think it'll be either Dallas Turner or Jared Verse.
I love Verse.
I was going to say I'm leaning Verse. Can I take Verse there at pick 9 for the Chicago Bears? I don't know if is that a surprise pick?
I think that's high for him, but I like his get off the ball. I think he reminds me of like a DeMarcus Ware because he plays the run well. He can get off the ball, rush the passer. I really do like Jared Verse.
I was going to say, I feel like they get the all around prospect here that fits their scheme a little bit better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my line of thinking with Verse over Dallas Turner.
Yep.
But again, I think there's 3 edge names right there that if they take any of those at pick 9, and this is another one, you might trade back. Well, you're stockpiling picks. If there's somebody at 11 that is coming up for, or say those 2 tackles are there at pick 9, they might trade. And hey, didn't they trade pick 9 last year and gave up on the chance for Jalen Carter, which we all very much appreciate around here. So thank you very much. And if you want to do it again, feel free. So
we're going Verse?
Jared Verse. Yes, please.
Verse. Not a bad pick at all, my friend. Okay, it is time now
for the Jets. Let's draft a fact checker on all internet conspiracy theories, please, so we can stop doing this madness every single week. I'm so tired of my Twitter feed being filled with it.
So the Packers never got playmakers for Aaron Rodgers when he was in Green Bay. It seemed like the Jets tried to surround him with them for the 3.7 seconds he played last season. But he's back. And it was amazing that finally it came out. I don't know if you noticed it, but on a podcast last week, he basically said, yeah, it was a lie the whole season. Like, I knew I was never coming back. I thought my career was finished. So the whole, like, I'm coming back week 6, I'm coming back at the end of the season. Guys, like the smart people thought, we always knew that was not happening. And he knew that was not happening. So, yeah. But I think this is the time where the Jets are going to try and make a splash again, try and surround him with weapons for whatever he has left. And I'm going to go Brock Bowers here. He is a top 10 talent. It's, again, don't overthink it. He's kind of that Kyle Pittsy guy. And you need to get your older quarterback surrounded by weapons. You put him in this offense, I think it can help out a lot. I'm going to go Brock Bowers, top 10 pick at 10 for the Jets.
Hooray. That has never backfired on any team before.
Nope.
All right. Vikings here at pick 11. Hey, they've got some serious potential in a lot of different positions. So let's think about this here. They got a pretty good offensive line. Hey, do they need a wide receiver by any chance? They need a receiver there?
Possibly.
They're in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. So I think Roma Dunze is probably not the pick right here. But I think we can look at corner. I think they got cooked. They had a really bad secondary there. Dallas Turner's still there on the board. That's tough for me to give up. But I do think Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama, that's a name, I think. But how about Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo? He's down there at 16. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are high on him. I will give him to the Vikings at pick 11.
Ooh-wee, look at you.
I'm making the move.
Ballsy pick here. All right. I think this is a situation, if it comes to the Broncos, where they're running the card up to the front. They need edge rushers. The defense was not what you thought. They were bringing in veterans. They were releasing veterans. Randy Gregory was there. Then Randy Gregory was gone. I think you run up the podium for Dallas Turner. He's a top 10 pick. You're getting him at 12. I know that they need a quarterback, but I don't think this is the time where you're going to stretch now. You saw in this draft the quarterbacks that went, right? Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, all gone. I think this is way too early for a guy like Penix. I think they have options early in the second. That could be the only quarterbacks that go in the first. We saw what happened a couple of years ago where Kenny Pickett went early and then they didn't pick another quarterback till 70. They'll have a shot in the second round. Or if they want to try and trade back up later, they can pick a quarterback later. I am running Dallas Turner up to the front.
That's a good pick. I think I don't know why I went over him twice, but congrats to the Broncos because I feel like I helped them out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what should we do here for the Raiders? Kind of need of a little bit of everything, right? I think that this would be a fun pick to go with Leatu Latu, to go with Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Should I just do the fun thing?
I mean, it's always fun to do fun, especially in Vegas. Vegas is fun.
True. All right, let's do it. Edge rusher again off the board.
Boom. All right, I am going to do the smart thing here. You have Derek Carr. You have to protect him. This guy is one of my absolute favorites. I think the Cowboys are in love with him. He had 30 visit. He had a combine visit. There's no way he's falling to 24. Maybe if he gets in this range, they can try and trade up for him. But I think Talise Fuagu, the offensive tackle from Oregon State, is phenomenal. I would love him on the Cowboys, but I think this is where the Saints do a smart thing here. Try and protect the quarterback, try and work on the trenches, and Fuagu's the pick at 14.
That's a great pick. And New Orleans, historically, always going offensive line in the first round. So seems like another one, you know?
Agreed.
All right, on to the Colts. We're almost hitting the halfway point here. Now, one of their big needs, I think Roma Dunze, again, this would be like a
Can't
cool
believe he's
type of
still
thing.
sitting there.
Yeah, he is
Somebody's
still
coming
sitting
up for
there.
him.
He is still sitting there, and it's going to get interesting for a lot of teams. I think some people may trade up. I'm going to go the opposite side. I'm going to go corner. That's a need as well for the Indianapolis Colts there. So I'm going to take Terrion Arnold. I think a fundamentally sound corner. Him and Kool-Aid McKinstry made a pretty solid duo there at Alabama. So I will give him at pick 15 to the Colts.
That is a
A
great
guy
pick.
who
That
could be the
helps
number one
them
corner off the board.
tremendously. In this pick, I'm going to do something that hurts us, hurts both of us here. Aidan,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
local kid to Seattle,
No.
played his ball at Washington.
No.
He's nasty.
No.
He's tough. He's physical. He fits that Seattle Seahawk kind of realm of what they want to do. They want to beat people up, try and run the football, protect Geno Smith. I got to do it. It's our guy, Troy.
No.
Offensive tackle,
No.
Washington.
No, we'll be so
I'm
sad.
sorry.
We'll be
I'm
sad.
sorry.
He's so good. He's so
He's
good.
so
He's going to be an
So
absolute mauler.
Yep.
Ugh.
I think I could see him in a Seattle Seahawks. Only in the 90s throwbacks though.
I'm definitely. I can see him. I can see him in the blue for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The new green that they wear, not so much. His game
yeah.
does not match that green. You know what I mean?
No.
He's like absolute mauler. Damn it. Yeah, he's awesome. He's my number one on the Eagles big board. I don't even know if I have a close second right now, but I don't think he's going to make it to 22. It'd have to be a trade up situation.
Oh yeah.
All right. This is the time we do it, right? This is the time that we do it. There's a few team needs here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think this might be just kind of a best player available situation. Dunze, we didn't expect to be here at 17.
Mm-mm.
They have Christian Kirk. They've got Calvin Ridley. But I feel like Ridley was pretty, inconsistent last year. They're talking about extensions with Trevor Lawrence. Load up the weapons around him, which they've tried to do. They brought in Kirk. They brought in Evan Ingram. They've had some varied success. I think Kirk has been a home run in terms of they thought that contract was overvalued, and he actually turned out to be pretty good. But I think you just kind of go with best player available and add a weapon around your franchise quarterback who you're looking to extend. There's a name. There's another name at that position who is not going to shock people if he came off the board at 17.
Who is that?
I'm not going to say it because I feel like he's on your big board at 24.
All righty. Roma Dunze gone. I'm going to do something a little bit. I'm not sure if you expect this, but I can just see this guy in a Bengals uniform. Maybe it's because it's sort of the colors that he played with in college too. On the defensive side of the ball, I think he fits that Cincinnati Bengal tough guy. I think he would solidify the defensive tackle position for him. He is the best D tackle in this draft, hands down. Byron Murphy, from Texas, defensive tackle. I can just see him as a Bengal all day long.
I like that a lot. All right, pick 19.
We're getting close.
I was going to say we're getting close to us. Now, here's one that I almost feel bad for this kid already because Aaron Donald retired this offseason. So you're looking to replace him. That's impossible. He's a Hall of Famer. He's the best defensive tackle in the game. But Johnny Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois, I think a lot of people are really high on. And another mock draft site, I saw him he was average draft position in the top 10. That's kind of crazy, right? But for the Rams at 19, let's give him to them and try to, play heir apparent with Aaron Donald and see how that goes.
Where is he? I can't see.
21.
Yeah. What am I?
Johnny Newton. Yeah. Defensive tackle.
Screen blanked out on me. Boom. All right. You could go a couple different ways here, I think. I think you could go offensive line. I think Jackson Powers Johnson, the center, he spent some time with the staff, with the head coach. I think they need to solidify, protect Russell Wilson. But could you imagine Chop Robinson on the opposite side of arguably the best edge rusher or defensive player in the NFL? What that would do? I think that would catapult their defense to another stratosphere. And I think they're going to need that with maybe what this offense is going to handle or not do this year. He stays in Pennsylvania, Chop Robinson to Seattle, to Pittsburgh, just because I want to see the two of them coming off the edges after quarterbacks together.
I think a lot of people in Pennsylvania and the Pittsburgh area would be happy. I love Chop Robinson. Not the most polished edge rusher in the draft, but you can see the ceiling may be higher than some of the guys in front of him based off the athletic burst that he has, which is fantastic. So we're coming up. I have pick 22, so I don't know if you want to take pick 21 and go twice here.
I was going to say, if I don't, I'll either take 21 or 23 because otherwise you're going to have 3 straight picks.
Yeah, to take 21 here and go back to back because I think you nailed it with the Chop Robinson. So just keep it rolling.
Okay. Let's see here.
They got some options. I think the board fell really nice for the Dolphins, considering they're light on picks, right? I know they have a first-round pick, but I think they're light.
I mean, I could. I like Brian Thomas. I just don't love Brian Thomas, and I don't think they need Brian Thomas. There's a guy there that should not be there. I mean, Latham. What do you like, Latham?
I do.
I don't know if he's going to be there at 21.
The way this fell, I don't know if J.C. Latham or Amarius Mims would be there, which is hilarious to say the way this fell as if we didn't pick the fucking players on the mock.
And I think in this scenario that would be upsetting to them because I think Chop Robinson, if he's there, they would take him. I think he would add a lot to the Dolphins. But I mean, let me see. Their offensive line, they have, hold on. I just want to see one thing before I make this pick. Depth chart. We're doing this together. We're learning together right now.
Line help. They did lose Christian Wilkins at the defensive tackle position, so they've got some holes in the infrastructure on both sides.
Yeah, they have Terrion Armstead, obviously, but he's 32 years old.
Yep, there you go.
Austin Jackson's on the other side. Can you say no to a guy like Latham?
If you subscribe to the best player available strategy, then no, you cannot.
Yeah, I want to go Cooper DeJean, but
I will die.
Kendall Fuller, they just signed. They have Jordan Poyer, Holland. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Latham. I think it's a smart pick.
Best player available. That's the strategy to go with. Nice.
Eagles. Fell to you. A lot of it fell to you.
A lot of it fell to us. So listen, I don't think it's going to shock a lot of people if they go tackle and you're saying, well, they have tackles. They got Jordan Mailata. They got Lane Johnson, but they're preparing for the future. And they do a lot in terms of buying into that infrastructure up front. And you've seen it this offseason with the restructures and extension for Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata. They care about this. And the fact that the last time they got to tackle Lane Johnson in the first round, now they're looking for his heir apparent. So Amarius Mims would make a lot of sense if they believe in him. Again, more of like a project, but also just a behemoth. He is a monster. Yep. It looks like Hagrid, and he's blocking the kids at Hogwarts when Amarius Mims is on the field. But I do think they go corner. And then you put yourself between Nate Wiggins and Cooper DeJean. We're going to call him Cooper DeJean, even though he will be DeJean as soon as he makes it to Philadelphia. And I do truly believe Cooper DeJean is going to Philadelphia at pick 22. You can put him on the board. Here's a few reasons why. I hate the term Swiss Army knife, but it is kind of that for the Eagles. He can play corner. He can play safety. He's the punt returner. You think about last year. Think about the guys who missed the different time in the secondary. Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship, Avonte Maddox, James Bradbury, Darius Slay, all missed a game. So you had to put people all over the field. Well, DeJean can do that. And also a big thing with the Eagles, they are now super invested in people's athletic scores coming out of college. At Cooper DeJean's pro day, a few days ago. Not only was he medically cleared, he tested through the roof in all of the athletic metrics that they care about. So I do believe that we saw the report. They are infatuated with him, some members of the front office. So if he's there at 22 and Chop Robinson's off the board, JC Latham goes to pick before, Cooper DeJean is there at pick 22 for the Eagles.
Love it. Hate it. Love it.
Hate it. Love it. Hate it. Love it. Hate it.
All right, sir. You got 2 in a row here.
Cool. I'm back to the Vikings. I think I took a pick for them earlier, so I'm just doing everything that I can for them. So let's see. I just went corner for them the last time. What are some team needs there for the Vikings this time around? Let's see what we got for them. Pick 23 for the or not for the Cowboys. That's all you. Vikings. Pick 23. Are we really going to sit here and pretend that we are sold on freaking Sam Darnold when we have Justin Jefferson in his prime? No. Give these guys, Jordan Addison, you got TJ Hawkinson at tight end, stud, Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the game. Wish we had him. Let's get him a quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington.
Ooh.
Let's fling it around the yard. Let's give the Vikings a pick there and a QB at pick 23. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Bo Nix. No. Michael Penix Jr. off the board at 23.
I like it. Listen, there's valid medical concerns with him. The fact that his ACL and shoulders have been repaired and he's like 24. But I also like the way he can sling it as a lefty. His arm talent kind of is like what they wanted Tua to be.
Amen. All right. Dallas Cowboys on the clock.
This is your time to shine.
At the jump, I said Graham Barton, Jackson Powers Johnson, Tyler Guyton, Troy Fautanu, Edrin Cooper, and Marius Mims. We have 5 out of the 6 left. Barton's there.
Pretty well for you.
Powers is there. Guyton is there. Fatanu's gone. Edrin Cooper's there. Marius Mims is there.
Nice.
I think also Nate Wiggins would be a possibility in this scenario. They have said that they are comfortable with his size and the player that he is. He is one of those sticky guys that I think Mike Zimmer would like. But he's there. I think they're both there. I'm going to go Graham Barton. He is the smartest player in the draft, everyone's saying. The injuries with Jackson Powers Johnson is scaring me a little bit. You watch Graham Barton play. When he gets his hands on you, your players aren't going anywhere. So I'm going Graham Barton. They need to solidify the center position. This is a deep center draft, but if you wait, you're kind of going to be in the same spot that you were for the last couple of years at center, with issues running the ball, power at the point of attack. I think they need this for their offense. They need this for the run game. They need this for their quarterback. Graham Barton, Duke.
All right. Wow. Still amazes me that this kid is 6'7" and he plays center. That doesn't seem like it makes sense, but what can you do? What can you do? All right. So
a lot of names on the board.
I was going to say a lot of names here on the board, a lot of big things here for the Packers. So again, team need there. Another guy, I didn't know if he'd be here, but it's kind of the range that he'd be in the 20s. But Nate Wiggins, the corner from Clemson, some people are high on him because he's fundamentally sound as a corner. But one of the things that I didn't like and why I strayed away from him and went DeJean for the Eagles is that he's a little bit lighter and they worry about tackling. Now, they do kind of love that he plays with a lot of energy. He's always around the ball. He has a high motor, all of those things, and he can play off coverage, press coverage, everything like that. So to me, that's a culture thing for the Packers where they always love like these intense, high energy guys, do everything right type of guys. They always seem to go to places like Green Bay. So I'll give Nate Wiggins to the Green Bay Packers here at 25.
I like it.
In need of a corner.
All right, Tampa Bay Bucks here. You can see also they need edge. They need corner. I'm sure Nate Wiggins coming off the board will hurt them a little bit. Wide receiver, I could see Brian Thomas being there, being a weapon for Baker. But you see center right there. Jackson Powers Johnson, arguably a lot of people have him as the best center in the draft. Cowboys passed on him for Graham Barton. I think that'll be a welcome player to bring into the Buccaneers facility to help their newly signed to a long-term deal, former first-round pick, quarterback. I'm going to go the center, Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon to the Bucs.
All right. Back to the Cardinals. Earlier in the round, we gave them Marvin Harrison Jr., and we thought, hey, that just kind of feels like a home run, right? Like that just feels like something that would work. So, again, I think my line of thinking here is just going common sense. This was a defense that was much maligned last year. It felt like there were holes all over the field, and they got ran on, they got passed on, everything happened to them. So I think what I'm going to do here for them is go and get Kool-Aid McKinstry, another guy. Eagles had a top 30 visit with him, really high on that corner. I think a lot of people like him in the draft, but this will be, solidifying Jonathan Gannon's defense so that he can blame everyone but himself if the Cardinals make it to the Super Bowl and give up 500 yards of offense.
Love it. Whew, some names on the board. So Josh Allen's still there. Stephon Diggs is not. They need weapons for their quarterback. This guy, Brian Thomas, dropping to them here at 28. He's an athlete. He's very fast. I don't know if he's a great receiver, technically wise, but I don't think the quarterback is great technically wise either. He's just a mammoth of a human and can run fast and has a cannon of an arm. So that'll fit perfectly with Josh Allen. So I'm going to bring Brian Thomas, the wide receiver from LSU, and put him in Buffalo.
I like that. And that's the most like home run obvious one of the draft, where not necessarily the player, but the position. They need a wide receiver. And if it falls like that, where Brian Thomas is on the board, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman, if they're all on the board, you're going wide receiver. Take your pick of what you would like.
Yep.
All right. Now to the Lions. They've got some interesting moves to make. And they do things a little weird, right? Like that. I feel like they're a little bit weird. So let's think about this. I think they need edge rusher, and it did not fall great for them. But there's a name that I keep seeing on Twitter, and I keep reading about this because he seems to have all of these different, top 30 visits. And I'm saying to myself, what's going on here? That this kid seems to be, flying up the charts and has 4 different top 30 visits. So if we could go to the defensive side and go to edge rusher, I will see if I can find him. But I think we're going to have to go down the list a little bit here.
Defense, edge.
There he is. I just saw him. Marshawn Nealand from Western Michigan. Every time I go on, he seems to be having a top 30 visit with the team. They want an edge rusher to pair with Aiden Hutchinson. I know that he met with the Lions, so I'm going to give him to the Lions there at pick 29.
Look at you. All right, this is of course it fell this way because it's the Ravens.
Yeah.
He just perfectly fits the Ravens, who they are, what they do. I could see him in that uniform. Why can't I get out of this? Okay. Of course he's there. Of course this would fall for the Ravens, but does not Amarius Mims just seem like the perfect fit to be a Baltimore Raven?
Yep. They have a pretty straightforward strategy.
They're running the card up and they're laughing while they do it.
They're like, how did you let us get away with this one again? I've seen
Tyler Guyton mocked there a lot, but if Mims is still sitting there, I know he's only started 8 games in college, but he is a freak. His traits are unbelievable. His ceiling is just extremely high. And if there is a perfect place to go for a guy like that, it is Baltimore.
They can't keep getting away with this. And at pick 31, to the best loser of last year, the San Francisco 49ers. Tough to see them lose that Super Bowl. A team that took a lot of accountability, has never made excuses, and has never blamed anyone else. But I do think that they get a really great pick here. I will go with the other tackle that was available. I'll get Tyler Guyton. Still looking to replace your gym buddy. He went to the Denver Broncos this past year. Yep. So let's give them Guyton as the replacement. Speaking of how they can't keep getting away with this fell to the Chiefs so well.
I mean, they're going to go wide receiver, right?
They have to. They needed it
You have
before,
to
and
get
then they're
Valdez-Scantling is gone, correct?
yep.
So is Kadarius Toney.
They
Sky
did get
Moore has not.
Hollywood Brown.
They did get Hollywood Brown, so they got speed. So I
No,
think
their
that kind of
receivers
takes.
have too much speed. Is the
That
problem this offseason?
it is very true. I really like Mitchell from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I think Xavier Worthy, obviously, he broke the record. They could get more speed, but a guy I feel like has been being slept on
Yes.
and would just be an absolute nightmare for the rest of the league playing with Patrick Mahomes is Keon Coleman. I think Keon Coleman going to Kansas City will just the entire league will at the same time say what you just said. They can't keep getting away with this.
Can't
But
keep
you
getting away.
give Keon Coleman to Patrick Mahomes, it's the Vince Carter, just it's over. Keon Coleman, Chiefs.
It broke pretty well for some of these teams that it always seems to break well for. The Ravens, the Chiefs, also for yourself. You like the picks that the Cowboys had. So that is a great first round. I loved going back and forth. This was fantastic. It was great to play GM for everybody. I hope everyone is satisfied with their picks. Some franchise quarterbacks, some tackles. I did see statistically, this might be the most offensive players drafted in the first round of NFL draft ever. It makes sense because there's so many different quarterback prospects. There's so many different wide receiver prospects that people like, offensive tackle. So this will be a really, really great draft for fireworks and offensive firepower, which always makes it a lot of fun on draft night. And I know we did no trades, but listen, there's a lot of quarterbacks that people are interested in. Yep. There's a lot of corners that I think people might be moving up for if they like a certain guy. It's going to be flying all night.
And I will tell you, all those names that were left on the board, both Texas wide receivers. Bo Nix was sitting in there. Newbin, who the safety from Minnesota, who I believe is a first-round pick, didn't go. The phones all night and Thursday night and Friday will be ringing off the hook of teams trying to come up to get their wide receiver with those two still sitting there. A team trying to come up to get Bo Nix. A team trying to get the best safety in the draft in Newbin. So this just shows you this is a deep draft, and even if some of those guys I just mentioned did go in the first round, that means a couple of the guys we drafted in the first round would still be sitting there, and there's going to be teams trying to call up to move up. So there's a plethora of talent. It may not be the most top-heavy draft, but it is deep in lots of positions.
I like it a lot. Like you said, I was looking at the names as we picked for the Chiefs, and I was like, oh, I can't believe the Chiefs got away with this. I'm like, if you're in the 30s, you got to be really happy with the way that fell. There's a lot of talent. It's loaded. We could have done the second round, too, if we had the wherewithal to go through the second round. It's the product of, having that extra COVID year, having the extra red shirt where you can stay in college longer. So it makes it really exciting for this draft this year. I think there's a lot of talent there.
Aiden, that was so much fun. We will be doing mock drafts for the Cowboys and the Eagles. Either I think we could do it later this week. Maybe we'll drop one on Friday. And we'll do 3-4 rounds. I will pick for the Cowboys. The computer will pick for the rest, and Aiden will pick for the Eagles. But that was fun. I could see it going that way, but we know it's not going to go that way because there's going to be drafts. People are going to be trading up, and there is going to be that moment sometime in the first round where we're going to be like, what just happened?
Oh, yeah.
Happens every year. Times. Yep. Can't wait. Love it. Draft time is our favorite time until the start of the season, and that becomes our favorite time, especially for you this year being in Brazil.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Hey, but I'll tell you what, draft night is almost better than the opening day because when everyone drafts, you have hope.
Yes.
Then sometimes week one comes around and you get your ass kicked and you're like, I liked it better when we played on paper in April. So regardless, great time. Can't wait.
Ted Lasso said, it's the hope that kills you. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your days. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Let us know in the comments below if we picked for your team, if you love it, if you hate it, if we're idiots. if we have good hair, if we have bad hair, just let us know what's going on. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen everywhere podcasts are. And make sure you're following us everywhere on social media at Birds vs. Boys Pod. 1 week left. We're almost there.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.